One phone call. That is all it took to destroy everything I had built. My husband was gone. My income was gone. And I had 30 days to figure out how to keep a roof over my children's heads. We were not rich, but we were stable. We were happy. Marcus worked in construction and I did part-time bookkeeping from home while raising our 2 kids, Lily, age 7, and James, age 5. We had a mortgage, a minivan, and a Friday night pizza tradition that the kids would remind us about every single Thursday. Life was ordinary. And ordinary was everything. Marcus left for work on a Monday morning like every other Monday. Kissed me on the cheek. Stole a piece of my toast. Told James to behave himself. He never came home. A coworker called me at 2:17 that afternoon. There had been an accident on site. By the time I got to the hospital, he was already gone. Just like that. No goodbye. No warning. No final moment. Just gone. I remember standing in that hospital corridor thinking, this cannot be real. This is not my life. Things like this do not happen to people like us. The first week was a blur of casseroles and condolences. People filled the house. There was always noise. But then everyone went home. And the silence was the loudest thing I had ever heard in my life. His boots were still by the front door. His coffee mug was still in the dish rack. The kids kept asking when Daddy was coming back. And I had to find words every single day that I was not ready to say. 2 weeks after the funeral, the bills started arriving. Mortgage. Car payment. Insurance. Utilities. I had been working part-time. We had built our life around 2 incomes. Without Marcus, I was drowning before I even had time to grieve. I opened his laptop one night to find account passwords and found 3 unpaid credit card statements I never knew existed. My hands were shaking. I sat there until 4 in the morning staring at numbers that did not add up no matter how many times I tried. I had 2 children asleep down the hall, and I genuinely did not know how I was going to feed them by the end of the month. There was a night, about 6 weeks in, where I locked myself in the bathroom and just fell apart completely. Not the polite kind of crying you do in front of people. The kind that comes from somewhere so deep it scares you. I was exhausted. I was terrified. I was so angry at him for leaving. And then immediately guilty for being angry. I kept thinking, how do I do this? I cannot do this. I am not strong enough for this. And then Lily knocked on the door. 7 years old. And she said, Mama, James made you a picture. He says it will make you feel better. I opened that door. Something shifted that night. I could not afford to stay on the floor. My kids needed me standing. So I made a list right there at the kitchen table at midnight. What I had. What I owed. What I could cut. What I could do. It was not a perfect plan. It was a survival plan. But it was mine. I updated my resume for the first time in 6 years. I called Marcus's employer about the workers' compensation claim. I contacted a housing counselor about the mortgage. I asked for help, which was the hardest thing I had ever done in my life. It did not happen overnight. There were setbacks. Weeks where I took 2 steps forward and 3 steps back. I picked up full-time work as an office administrator. My mother-in-law took the kids on Tuesday and Thursday evenings so I could breathe. A local church connected me with a grief counselor free of charge, and that changed everything. I stopped pretending I was okay, and started actually working toward being okay. Slowly, the numbers started making sense again. Slowly, the kids started laughing again. Slowly, so did I. Was it graceful? Not even a little bit. I once showed up to a parent-teacher meeting in 2 different shoes, and I only noticed when the teacher looked down and then very politely looked back up. I fed my kids frozen waffles for dinner 4 nights in a row once. James told his teacher, Mommy only knows how to make waffles now. His teacher sent home a recipe booklet. I cried laughing for the first time in months. Marcus is not here, and there is not a single day I do not feel that. Not a Friday pizza night. Not a school play. Not a single ordinary Tuesday. But I have learned something that I wish someone had told me in that hospital corridor. Grief and strength are not opposites. You can be completely broken and still be the most powerful force in your children's lives. You can lose everything and still rebuild. It is slower than you want. It is harder than anyone warns you. But it is possible. I am proof of that. If you are walking through loss right now, whether it is a spouse, a relationship, or a life you planned, I want you to know this. You are not alone. You are stronger than you know. And no matter how dark things look today, there is still a future waiting for you on the other side of this pain. Keep going. One day at a time.
Don't forget to like and subscribe.